Hey everyone, in this video I wanted to discuss position sizing and how can you actually have a good logic of choosing the right position size for you, for your risk tolerance, for a given position and so on. This could be very difficult if you don't have experience or if you don't have a plan for a specific trade, and that's why I wanted to do this video and kind of help you evaluate every single position before you open it, or evaluate your open positions and see if you are oversized or undersized compared to your risk tolerance and also to your trading plan. So I'm just gonna show you some examples and some basic rules that I follow. I don't think there's a golden rule that applies to absolutely everyone for position sizing. It's completely different because our risk tolerance is completely different. So take everything that I say in this video and just apply it in your own experience and in your own train of thought. I'm going to try to present to you just type of questions that I ask myself and how I go through the process of deciding how much I want to invest in something. So the first couple of things that you need to consider is, first of all, what is the overall size of your portfolio? So let's say you have 100,000 to play with, and out of this money, how much are you willing to risk on a single position? And if the position is Bitcoin, this might be something else. If the position is, let's say, an altcoin like an Atom or IMX that we gonna look as an example here, what would be the position size there? Because the risk profile is completely different. And in my personal opinion, and according to my risk tolerance, I usually try to keep 30% in Bitcoin, maybe 30% also in ETH on average in my portfolio. Of course, these numbers fluctuate quite a lot, but usually this is my target. And then I usually have around 20% cash in my portfolio, and the remaining percentage, which is around 20%, I divide it into out positions. And the rule of thumb that I follow is never have more than 5% in a single out position. And if it gets above this level, because for example it was a really nice trade, I try to trim it, and usually this lines up with all the targets that I have set for my profit targets. Also, if it's a little bit riskier position, or if, for example, the project is not that popular, or it's in not many exchanges, they don't have good exchange diversification, or anything else that adds risk to a position, I try to play it with the position size. So I might have positions that I even have just 1% of my portfolio that I invest in, and that's enough for me and for my risk tolerance. But I know that for this specific position that I have 1% invested, maybe I have 10x or 20x potential for returns. So this position has the potential to grow in my portfolio, and I'm not risking that much of my overall portfolio if things go south, which quite often in crypto this happens. One more thing to consider with position sizing, and we're gonna look into a specific example here. Consider the monetary amount that you are willing to lose on a given trade. Let's say your portfolio is 100,000 and you have a risky out position, which you decide to invest 5% of your overall portfolio. This means that the monetary amount that you're risking is $5,000. Okay, if you have a trade plan in place and you have your stop loss, and maybe if it goes below this level, you're going to cut it, so it won't be the entire 5,000 that you're risking. Maybe it will be just 1,000 if your stop loss is around 20% below the entry point. Ask yourself if you are okay with the monetary loss, because we always talk about percentages because everyone has different sizes of their portfolio. But if you're not okay with losing $1,000 on a trade, if this sounds a lot to you, then maybe you need to reduce your position size, even if this is just 1% of your overall portfolio. This is a decision that you want to make by yourself. And also consider the conditions that we're in. So for example, one position size might be good for you in a bear trend, or if you have a bad streak of several losses and you want to reduce your position size because you don't feel confident trading right now. And the totally different approach to position sizing could be in a bull market where you have a lot of conviction about a project, or you have a really nice pattern on the chart and you want to invest a little bit heavier and you're okay with taking this risk in a bull market. All of these things should help you decide on your position size. And now let's look at a couple of examples of trades that I've taken, and let me walk you through my mindset and tell you why I have decided to go with this type of position size and how it works for me personally. So this is an IMX trade that I started position somewhere around here in March 2022, and as you can see, now I'm down bad on this position. So from here, my initial entry, I'm down around 55%, and from my second entry that I had right here, I'm down around 20%, I would say. So what was my thinking behind this trade? And let me just use the replay tool. We were back here, and I remember that we were having a lot of uncertainty and doubt creeping into the market at this time period. And I remember looking at this, and IMX was showing some relative strength. We were still not going full bear, and there was some clear resistance here that we have broke below, and now price has started reversing at this time. So I was looking at this and I'm like seeing some relative strength here, and this is a clear resistance level, and I have researched IMX. I want to invest in it because I think it has potential. So let me just start opening a position which will be a breakout trade. So basically I'm looking at this level to break, and if it goes above, that's great. You pretty much know at this moment already how a breakout trade works. And if you play a little bit, you can see that it worked almost perfectly in the beginning. It retested, it made this into support, and then it started running to the upside. However, because of the overall conditions of the market, I didn't size this very large, so I decided that for this position, for IMX, I want to invest no more than 1 or 2% of my portfolio. And in this entry here that I had, I invested around, I think, 30 or 40% from my entire position size. What was my thinking? So I was like, okay, we have a lot of uncertainty. Let me just hide myself here so you can see the chart better. So you have a lot of uncertainty on the market. We're going for a bear trend, and usually breakout setups like this one don't always perfectly work in bear trends, and I don't want to risk too much. And if I see some strength in the future, or if price breaks down and I can average down, this was my thinking. So I wanted to see a confirmation, either if we see some strength and continuation, I can add to the position so I can bring it up to 1 or 2% of my overall portfolio. Or if we are breaking below this level, I still have a lot of cash to add to my position in order to make it full size, and I actually will bring my entry cost down. And that's actually what happened. This breakout pattern didn't play well, so we reversed and we went back to this zone here, which price started respecting. And then I decided that, okay, on this retest here, because we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red days in a row, I want to add some more to the position. Again, this wasn't going full size position for me. So if I added here around 30-40%, here I added another 20-30%. So I even have more room to add, because I was expecting that this could happen. We could break down and we could go even lower, and this is generally a riskier play, and that's why I wanted to show it to you guys, because it's not a very clean setup. It's not perfect conditions on the market where we have a bull run, and the support and resistance level here wasn't like the cleanest. There weren't that many reactions, but still, I wanted to take this trade because I've done some research, and there was a lot of noise about Immutable X and in general the NFT market. So I just wanted to tap my feet in the water, I would say here. So I decided to add a little bit more here, but as you can see, the trade continued downwards. I was expecting it here to reverse. Again, not a perfect level for support, just because we had just one reaction. So pretty much I was catching knives, and that's why I decided to also size it a little bit better. And as you can see, I have 2 entries, and this is pretty much like DCAing, dollar cost averaging, into a position. And this is another way that you can use position sizing to your advantage. Even if you have a lump sum of money that you want to invest, you might not do it at the same time all together at once. You can break it down even to further smaller parts and decide how much you want to invest. And as you can see, the trade is still not working, and we have quite a few retests of this level, even just recently, right here. And I will probably cut out of this trade, but still I'm okay with the monetary and percentage loss. It might look scary, like from this here to here I'm down 55%, but this is just 30% of my position, of my position of 1 or 2% of my portfolio. So this is a very, very low percentage trade for me, and that's why I consider it low risk. When even if I lose money, it's a low risk because I'm gonna lose not that much money as a monetary amount, although the percentages look significant. So this is one example of a losing trade, and let me give you another example of a winning trade. This is the sandbox, and I remember I was looking at to this initial breakout in the summer of last year, and I decided to add here on the retest because I think we've discussed this previously, but whenever you have a breakout, usually price comes back and retests the level to make it into a support. Or in this case, you can see that the sandbox broke down below this level, but I started into the position somewhere around here. This again was a relatively low percentage of my portfolio, like 1 or 2% again, because the sandbox, in my opinion, was a riskier play. And I added here on the retest, and then we had a further breakdown of price, but I saw that it's been respecting this level of support, the lower level right here, and it bounced back quite quickly. So I was like, okay, I want to average down into this position right here and add a little bit more and add almost full size, I would say, here in this position. And then price played out pretty nicely. You see this ascending triangle here also, and we had a very powerful breakout here, which was also triggered. I think there was the announcement that Facebook is becoming Meta, and Mana and Sand really started flying off after this announcement. And just because we had a few days in such big green candles, this was the third day in a row was 55% candle. And even more, like on the day this ran up like crazy, and for me this price action wasn't healthy, and that's why I decided to take, I think, somewhere around 10% of my overall position size here. And again, I DCate on entering the position, and I started taking some profit slowly. But this is also part of position sizing, because the position, if it starts growing too much for you, then you can start reducing it by using dollar cost averaging. And then, you know, it continued running and running and running, and here there was another pullback, and I said, okay, maybe I want to add back some size, although I sold some here, and it's quite high already in the price action. You know, we have already, since the breakout, we had like already 300-400% gains, but I was like, okay, this thing might have legs, and it was a lower cap, and I decided that I want to buy this price action here, where it kind of reversed a little bit, and it was showing some, you know, just correction after, you know, such a big run and two pushes to the upside. You can see here we had a retracement, which is very typical in a bull market. I didn't exactly buy the breakout, but anyway, I added some size here, and then I offloaded most of my position here in the highs. Again, I left some size in the position, but I took my profit here because this was getting out of control, and from the breakout level here I have like already 600-700% gains, and that's more than enough for me. So I took my lion's share of profit here, and then I let the rest of it ride for quite a while, and then I took out the last of my sand somewhere around here. And this is how I pretty much try to manage my position size when I'm entering into position and also when I'm exiting, because you can get a lot of feelings and emotions when you're in a losing position, but also when you're in a winning position. So I hope this video helps you with your position sizing. Just a general note, I'm extra careful in these type of market conditions. And if you have any questions, obviously, on position sizing or anything else, you know how to find me. Thank you.